Hello, and welcome to this edition of the Magical Human Show, which is our autumn equinox edition, plus our new Bramble Moon in Virgo solar eclipse on Sunday. Autumn equinox is on Monday, which is why I'm like,
Yes, so
And
many
I'm
things
fairly already
going on
booked.
at once.
And this is, who is this?
June. Hi. Rushing in, rushing out, trying to slow down with the season. I was doing all right until this morning, and then it all went a bit pear-shaped. But it's okay because I'm going to sit on the train and gather myself once I get there on my way to London for hugs with the family.
Oh,
Hmm.
lovely. Well, I would say the energy of September has been very frenetic. It's certainly been very frenetic for me. I've found it's been, yeah, just lot of work, which isn't a problem, but it is quite kind of frazzling.
Yes, yeah, well, frazzling is the word. My daughter used that just yesterday. She said, I feel really frazzled, and then sent me this gif of this person going, "La, la, la."
Yeah, it's a lot. So shall I start by giving you some astrological updates? So we've said, well, we know the sun is in the last vestiges of Virgo. And so when we're in this final like vestiges of a sign, it's always like the last opportunity to capitalize on the energy that that gives you. And the sun in Virgo is all about health and creating order and recognizing that balance cannot be achieved without clarity. So take that as you will. Obviously, the equinox, I'll talk about that in a minute. That's all about balance. The solar eclipse is a partial solar eclipse. It's in Virgo and it is also bramble. So it's this new kind of energy around, well, a solar eclipse gives opportunity for release. So releasing anything like bad habits, bad habits, and
Bad rabbits.
patterns that are karmic and ancestral. And I'll tell you more about the Bramble Moon when we get closer to the full moon, because there's a lot to say. Mercury is at the beginning of Libra, and Mercury in Libra is very interestingly about people learning to accept and tolerate other people's points of view. Now, we're in this world where we are being encouraged to be as divided as they can possibly make us. And people are literally flailing up all over the place against each other with their impassioned sense of righteousness. And that's great because you know what you are, what you believe in. It's great that you do that. But however, what I need to say to you, and I'm sure June will concur, I hope June will
I
concur,
know what you're going to say, and I'm with you. Yeah,
we're all in our own dimensions, our own lines, our own stories. So what's your truth can be totally different to somebody else's truth. And both are equally valid because your soul is living your journey. And it isn't very nice to denigrate somebody else's opinions as long as they're respectful of yours. It's this respect that's necessary. And Mercury in Libra is inviting this kind of respect. It's just like the conversations can't go any further if you're going to continue to disagree, but let's do it with love. Okay. And I've got good friends that I have this problem with, which we're completely on the different page about everything, but it's fine. They're totally happy. I'm happy. We're fine. So do you concur with that, June? Was that
yeah,
what you were going
totally,
to say?
totally. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's very sad to see people wasting their energy on arguing with people who they have more in common with than the people who are generating the divisiveness.
I agree with you.
We are
We're
all
being manipulated.
here, us mere humans, trying to find our way forward the best way we can, trying to hold our little lives together the best way we can. And it's no good us blaming each other for the difficulties that we're finding ourselves in. We kind of know who is to blame, but again, we can do nothing about that except for live our best lives. That's the live our best lives from our hearts and be as loving towards everybody as we possibly can. And that is easier said than done when somebody really annoys you, and you do want to shake people and go, wake the hell up. However, it doesn't make them wake up if you shout at them. You have to listen. We have two ears, one mouth, and we spend too long doing this at people. You need to know this. You need to hear this. And the person's going, whoa, this is too much information. And so I'm just gently, gently, slowly, slowly finding common ground with the people who appear on the surface of things to have a different view of the world to me. And we find common ground. You can do that. Like you just said, there's plenty of areas in life where we can share our common humanity. And some people are not human. So you just leave them alone.
Absolutely. And put all your protection up, get your aura spray out, get your crystals on, and just keep yourself very, very safe because that's about the energy thing, isn't it? Like being consciously
Mm,
aware of where you allow your energy to go and who you allow it to be around. But you made a really valid point, and that is that the actual conflict is going on so much higher up than us commoners down on the ground, but the fighting of the tension that that creates, we're literally bringing it down into the lower dimensions by taking it on. So
mm,
it's quite it's a difficult time because we have to become enlightened. We have to stand in our sovereignty and reclaim our power. Well, that's the invitation. We don't have to do anything. That is the invitation. The energy is here for you to take and become sovereign, become awake, and be aware of your truth. And
mm,
that is a choice. It's all a choice. And how you go about doing that, the best way of doing that is with love and with good intention, not with bitter hatred and vitriol, really.
mm.
And which is interesting. That brings me on to my next point. Venus is going into Virgo, and so that will purify relationships. So that will ask relationships to come into their best and most purest form. So
Mm,
that's rather lovely. Um,
mm,
will it also mean, though, that those relationships which are toxic to you, triggering in a way that isn't actually constructive, because triggering can be extremely constructive, depending on which way you choose to look at it. But those that just, as June says, the battles you're just not going to win, then that's okay too. Um, June will like the next point. Mars is about to plunge into the depths of Scorpio. So expect
Oh, I'm
intensity,
so looking forward to this.
passion, raw powers. But what this is going to do is make your decisions be soul-led, not about polite balance maintenance. So you are going to be, and more people are being pushed into their calling. And some people are coming kicking and screaming because Jupiter is in Cancer. So people are trying to hold on to, clinging to their comforts over their growth. So get
Yeah.
aware of that. Because if you're doing that, like clinging to comforts, and the universe is going, you're going a different way. I'm going to shut that job down. I'm going to stop that working out for you. Then you are better to go and don't resist because trust that there's a higher kind of picture at play. Because Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto are all retrograde, which, as we discussed last time, which will be happening for the next 10 years at this time of year. So this is all about balancing your boundaries, so making them nice and strong, dreaming in a new collective, which we're still not clear about. And we don't need to be clear about. We just need to know it's possible at this point and make sure we sort out our own ancestral karma and our own lines so that our energy feed into the collective is as pure and as kind of awake as it possibly can be. So it's creating a lovely future. But this unclarity does make people feel disorientated, but it can also bring to profound thought. So it's a very murky time. And I just want everyone to know that because we can really get caught up in not working out what's ours and what's the collective. And this business of, reviewing, which is Pluto, is all about reviewing what power means in group settings and ancestral karma coming into that. Like that's at a collective level. And that's really important as well to understand that. And basically, what I can say is the sky is full of transformation, and equinox is a threshold within that. So,
Yeah.
what say ye, June?
Yes, I'm just nodding away here like that one of those dogs on the back of a car. And yes, I mean, the thing is, when you said last chance, I went, no. Because yeah, I mean it might be the last chance for now, but things do come round again and we're constantly on this growth
We are.
spiral. As you always say, it's going upwards. I think it may be going forwards as well. There may be two things going on. Two things can be true at the same time, as we've been discovering. But yeah, I think seriously time to sort stuff out, clear the clutter in your mind and in your surroundings, do some feng shui rearranging, if you feel that that helps in your house and your work. And also, I think making sure that you feel your bottoms of your feet, because I find myself sitting here on this stool when I'm on Zoom calls. I find myself rising up on my toes
Ooh.
because my legs are short.
Can you not make the stool shorter?
I can. I'm on two cushions. Yeah, I could do all sorts of stuff. But at the moment I can reach the floor with my flat feet, but they creep up. And I think it's not actually to do with the height of the stool. It's to do with me getting excited. So I have to keep remembering to put my feet down so that the sole of my feet, the middle of the sole of the foot is bubbling spring kidney one, which connects us to the earth. Even if you're not on the ground floor, you can send your roots down through the ceiling of the floor below, through the floor, through the concrete or whatever's underneath that, into the earth and really hang on to there. Because, I mean, poor Mother Earth is really going through it as well. I mean, look at all these earthquakes everywhere that's going on
But is
and all this
she
stuff.
causing them? Because Mother Earth is a living thing. So
Mm,
there's kind of like this whole, I believe Mother Earth is more powerful than us humans. So I believe that actually she'll never let us destroy her. She'll decide when she's had enough. So I agree there's a lot of things going on, but it feels like by design because it's like
sure.
trying to sh bring this shift into reality. It's like I'm going to really shake the foundations upon which you're actually standing so you
Yeah.
feel
And
with it.
so the more we can connect with her, the more we can understand that, the more we can go with it rather than fighting it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Um, so I've said we've got, before we talk about Larry, we've got Equinox on Monday, and
Mm.
I just wanted to read out something I wrote because Equinox is this really fantastic time where the light and dark are in equal balance. So this kind of like this midway point in the year, and we have two of them, and this is the second one. And this is an opportunity to find balance. And with it being just after a solar eclipse and that release of bad patterns, that solar eclipse is about highlighting those bad patterns. And then on the equinox, releasing them and allowing ourselves to find balance. And indeed, in this ceremony I'm running tomorrow, I've gotten people to really think about what that means and the magic of it. Because with all of this, it's about taking the energy of what's available to you with ease and making the most of it. And when I was writing up my notes for tomorrow, I thought, oh, I'll tell the story of Mabon, which I thought you might find interesting. So, shall I tell you?
Yes, please.
Which is
Are
the
you
other
sitting
name.
comfortably?
Sitting comfortably, everyone, for Jackanory time. This is basically the other name for equinox is Mabon. So on the pagan wheel of the year, we call it Mabon. And the full name is Mabon ap Modron. And this was the great son of the great mother, who was born into the divine light. But on the third night of his little life, he was stolen away, taken from his mother's arms into the darkness of the other world. He vanished from the world of men, and none could say where he had gone. Mabon's abduction is the sun slipping away from our grasp just as the days begin to wane after the balance point. So the light is stolen away into shadow, which is exactly what we're doing in autumn equinox. We are having a celebration of our light and what we've managed to bring into that second harvest, and then we're awakening our shadows time. So time passed, and the hero, whose name I shall struggle to pronounce properly for all the Welsh people out there, Culwich, sought out Mabon not only for his help, for only with his help, sorry, could his great quest succeed. Yet Mabon was lost, hidden within the deep dark. So Culwich turned to the oldest beings of the land, the ancient animals who'd seen the cycles of earth since time immemorial. First came the blackbird of Silbury, whose song had worn stone to dust. Then the stag of Fire, who had seen almighty forests grow and vanish. Then the owl of Cwyn Cawyd, who remembered the valleys before the rivers flowed. Then the eagle of Gwynabee, whose wings had darkened the face of the mountains. And finally, the salmon of Lwynlir, the oldest and wisest of them all. These animals of deep time are the voices of nature itself, memories of the earth, the guardians of wisdom. They knew where Mabon was held, trapped in a dark stone fortress. With the salmon's guidance, Culwich travelled the waters and brought Mabon back from the shadows. So Mabon's story is our story. At the equinox, the sun too is taken from us, carried into the fortress of the night. But the promise of the myth is that light will return. We will descend now into the shadows, but not be lost, but to be remade. So in the stillness of autumn, as the berries ripen and the leaves fall, we taste both sweetness and letting go. So I think that's really lovely. What do you think?
I do think that's absolutely brilliant explanation of where we are. And I just wanted to say when I realized it was Bramble Moon, the brambles here in Yorkshire have come out very early. They were out in August, but they were much smaller than usual because they hadn't had much rain. And I don't know what they're doing this week because I didn't go my usual route where I go and see the brambles um, on a Wednesday. I didn't do that ride on my bike. So yeah, I mean it is traditionally the bramble harvesting. I mean it is harvest time, isn't it, as well? Second harvest as we've we had the first harvest in August at the beginning of August, but
Grain harvest. Yeah, this is the berries. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And the fruits. Oh my gosh, we've had so many fruits. See, this is so interesting what's happening with nature around us anyway, that we had loads of plums and loads of pears and apples, but the brambles were slightly deprived. So I don't know quite what that means on a spiritual level. The elderberries came, but not as many or as juicy as they were last time. But I've made my elderberry syrup, which is lovely, and I mixed it with hawthorn. Did I tell you this last week? Last time. Elderberry, hawthorn, and rose hips together for the coughs and sneezes and stuff that might be coming. I think I tend to get colds when I've got too much going on and my brain is busy and I'm not necessarily resting enough. But then also my defenses drop because our pores have all been opened with the warm weather. And then along comes a cold wind. And in Chinese medicine, we call that the wind cold invasion. And that's got a purpose. I mean, we can't always fight them off and pretend that we shouldn't have a cold because we really do need a cold to do a little bit of clearing twice a year, spring and autumn. So I've been sneezing a lot. So I think I'm doing it that way at the moment, but I'm not feeling ill. But my sleep patterns are all over the place. I fell asleep on Wednesday at 6:30 in the evening. And I woke up at 9 and I was awake for about 4 or 5 hours and then went back to sleep and got up again at 7. Madness. But my body seems to know. I never set an alarm. My body seems to know when it's 7 o'clock and I go ping. It's it's really great to be able to trust that.
Yeah, it really is. Yes, I've also made my hedgerow elixir. I put rose hips slow, loads of hawthorns, loads of rose hips, loads of hawthorns, loads of slow. I then had to sweeten that. Oh, and I had some elderberries, but not the same as normal,
Mm,
with blackberries, raspberries, and apples, because, as you
mm.
say, but I didn't have the blackberry. I collected a lot of the blackberries that I had in August. So I've got them in the freezer, and I did make a blackberry elixir, but I wanted to make something more comprehensive. So I've made that, and I've already sold it all. I've kept a bottle for
Well,
myself
I'm going to say
here
keep
for
one for
winter.
yourself.
Of course,
Yeah.
and I got and for ceremony, so I'll be serving that up tomorrow to the people coming to my event. But yeah, absolutely, this is the time for this opportunity, and I totally agree with the temperature change, bringing that seasonal kind of blood adjustment, really, because
Yeah.
that's what it is. It's like we've gone from the heat of the summer into the cooling winds of autumn. And I too got something that wasn't very deep, but was quite, trying to slow me down because the energy feels quite frenetic. It's interesting.
Mm.
I've also produced my calendar, which I should have had a copy.
Oh, great.
I know. I ordered 100 copies and 62 have had to be sent back because they're scratched.
Oh,
Super pleased because you probably won't be able to see this. Just sad.
no, not so much.
Not so much, but I got an artist to do
Oh,
all of the illustrations, a local
lovely.
artist. So it's a full guide to British magic, really. What's going on with
Oh,
the skies, what's going on down below, what kind of flavor, everything. So I'm super pleased that is done, and
so
available to
can
buy.
you send me some to sell in my little clinic, please?
It depends how many I have. When
When
I
you
get
get those
some
other ones back.
through, and it
Yeah,
depends how many you want. But yes, I'm definitely sure we can arrange
yeah,
something. I would be delighted to send you
yeah,
some to sell. They're
yeah.
£20 each. People go, £20 for a calendar, but it's like a grimoire.
It
So
is. It's not
like
just a calendar.
it's a whole
It's a
how to live
book.
the season with British magic. So it's like following the world. I mean, it takes a long time to put together. It's a hell of a lot of work,
It
but
is.
it's a pleasure. So, with that in mind and your time in mind, let's talk about Larry because we haven't got long
Ah,
left. And Larry is desperate to hear what June thought of his book. And also, the Larry interview has proven to be very popular, which is great because it
mm,
just it's about bringing people together to realize how magic this land is. So, June,
yes.
thoughts?
Yeah. I've just started it because it's been a bit of a
Busy
crazy
time.
week for me. My brother died last Wednesday in Canada, and I offered to help communicate with the rest of the family who are far and wide because we're a bit of a crazy, far-flung family.
Sorry about that, June.
And yeah, thank you. It was a surprise. When it was a shock, but not a surprise because he wasn't well, but I didn't think he was ready to go. But I think he chose the moment when that portal was open last week, you know?
That's interesting because my father-in-law died as well.
Ah, yeah. People often take their last breath in the lung time of day between 1 and 3.
Yes.
No, wait a minute, wait a minute. No, 1 and 3 is liver, lung is 3 and 5, 3 to 5, 3 to 5.
Oh no, he did this during the day,
Oh,
but
oh,
he had lung
oh, okay.
problems.
Okay. Yeah. So that's small intestine time, 1 and 3. Interesting. That's joy. He maybe went on to further joy. But my brother very clearly decided, according to his wife, she said to him the night before on Tuesday night, if you're not feeling better tomorrow morning, I'm taking you to the emergency room because they're in Canada. And he said, I'd rather die. And off he went.
Beautiful.
Just so clear, just woof. And he feels a lot different to my other friend who died earlier this year. She was like, what the heck? And he's like, no, no, this is fine. This is
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'm a bit busy communicating with people and finding people have been contacting me going, is he seriously gone? What happened? I just heard. So there's been a lot of transatlantic stuff because people from over there who I've known for all my life have contacted me because they're close to me. But there's also his friends in shock as well. And so yeah, so I haven't been able to do that much. And Monday, I carried on trying to work because I'm a professional. I can put my own feelings aside and, I can carry on working. And I did that until Sunday night. And then I hit the wall. Then I hit the wall. I had to get those jobs done and I had to, plow through, but you cannot force yourself to not address grief and loss. And even though I was lighting candles and I was, sending him love and stuff like this, I just Monday and Tuesday, I just took time and I just went, right, that's it. I'm just going to stay at home. I'm not going anywhere, not doing anything. And now today, as soon as I get on that train, I will be out of communication until I come back late Saturday night. And I'm just focusing on my family.
That's wonderful,
It's
June.
really important.
Really important.
Important.
Grief journey is, I mean, the way we do death in this country is just, well, he's done it in Canada, but I don't know if there's as much admin and bureaucracy as there is over here, which is
Oh
just
yeah. Yeah.
inappropriate. But again, it's divorcing people from the spiritual aspect of it. Thank God you've got that awareness. So, have you had a chance to have any views of Larry's book, or is it too early for you
Yeah,
to?
no, I've read the introduction. And I'm with him. I'm with him all the way.
We're all with Larry. We're all
He's
with Larry. I
clear
think
as a
I'll do
bell.
another one.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
But
it. I love it.
my people said that it was a bit hard to follow. So I think it's quite good if I do the interviewing with him because then I can kind of try and make it. Because when I was explaining to them, they went, "Oh, now I get it." And I was like, "Yeah, because it's so, if you haven't been down these particular places before, it can
Mm.
be, it's like it's an expert talking about something they're making their lifelong work. So the people, the newbies, are just at the shallow end are going, "What?"
I
So
know. I
it
know.
needs,
I think it's not going to tell me things I don't know,
I don't
but
think
I
so.
like the way he's talking. And
Yes.
it's always nice to see someone putting it in print because so many people are being censored from saying this kind of thing. And we need more voices to remind people because a lot of people are going, oh, well, that's over. It's all right. We're getting back on with our lives. I don't think so.
It's a completely different way of living now. But what's great about his book and what's come out of all the chit chat that's gone on, the comments, etc., underneath the video he and I have already made is the amount of awareness out there that people have about the magic of the British Isles and the fact that it is such a central place. And there's people putting in other points of view. And I saw at the weekend, I was at All Things Fungi, and there was a guy there called Darren LeBaron, who is travels the world looking at stone circles and the relationship between psychedelics, as in mushrooms, and spirituality, which is also incredibly interesting. And he's
Mm.
talking about stones that are in over here in stone circles that originate from Africa. And then I'm thinking, well, that kind of fits in with what Larry's saying, because if Britain's man-made, then of course they've got the stones from somewhere, although we do have our own stones here. And he thinks that everything originated out of Africa, like all of civilization. I don't really buy that. I think possibly their cave paintings have lasted longer because their dryness of their air means that things last a lot longer. Whereas in damp, soggy Britain, where we're constantly damp, anything that's inside of caves is going to get washed off. Anything that's kind
Mm.
of, carved into stone is going to get weathered off. So a lot of stuff has been lost just simply by the fact that we are these five seas meeting, these five air fronts. It's like all this stuff goes on here. Now, why have we got so many different seas and air fronts meeting over the top of us? The only other country like this in the world is Japan. So it's like, the magic of all of this. And so, yeah. uh,
Mm. However, not all of Africa is dry.
No, not all of Africa's dry. And, I just don't know for me, whether it resonates that it's the center of all of civilization. I need to think about that more.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, I
relationship.
felt that when I was there. I really did. I
Well,
really
he
did
was saying
feel
that,
like a connection to it. But that was Southern Africa.
well, he
And
was
that
saying
is drier, except it has a rainy season. But yeah,
that Southern Africa, he maintains, has, or the guy that he did some research with him. I mean, the guy's fascinating. He said there's over 1 million stone circles in South Africa. He said,
Zimbabwe has a lot.
my mother's from Zimbabwe.
Oh my goodness.
Mad.
Wow. Well, that's fascinating. That is fascinating. I mean, there are so many people looking at these kind of things at the moment, the ley lines, these circles,
Mm.
the stone constructions, that we realize now that possibly it was stones were not solid at one point. They were plasma, and people
Ooh.
moved them. The Egyptian pyramids, this is possible, that the Egyptian pyramids were built by them moving these plasma things with sound, lifting them up, putting
Ooh.
them. You not heard this before?
No,
This
but I can go with it.
it's
It's not a big
great, isn't it? Yeah.
stretch.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it was, oh, I don't know who I was listening to who suggested this to my brain, and it just resonated so much. And they get them into place, and then they solidify, which is why there are no real joins where the stones are. They're just perfectly poof balanced.
Amazing. Find that fascinating. I know you've got to go, June. I just on a lighter
I
note,
do very soon.
I'm
My
just
train isn't until 2:30, but I like
yeah,
to be there
I don't
early.
want you don't want to
Buses are
rush.
not that reliable, so yeah.
I'll give you some lighter news to end with, which was I read yesterday that in Machu Picchu, where I have actually been, the locals are so furious with the amount of tourists that they put boulders on the train track so the tourists couldn't leave Machu Picchu and get back down again. I think they landed up all in Olitambo. That's where I stayed when I went up there. Um, but yeah, that just, the backlash of people, and also Malta's doing the same thing in their Blue Lagoon. They're trying to stop so many tourists and kind of in their sacred sites, like protect them more because people are recognizing the significance of these places and they don't want people just turning up and trashing them. So,
Well, the Maldives is doing a similar thing with this beautiful Hanufaro Bay, where my daughter used to video the manta rays and the whale sharks, and it's a really special UNESCO World Heritage Site. And the government is its infinite greed, the same as all other governments, saw an opportunity presented by an international hotel chain to dredge that area and build a new island for their hotel. And people are going, what the hell?
they
You
didn't do
can't
it though,
do
did they?
this. Massive petition all over Instagram. Managed to stop them, managed to stop them. However, there's a few bought and paid for locals who are now going, but we want a hotel because we want the business and we want the tourists. And it's like, oh, for God's sake. And I'm saying they're bought and paid for. I have no evidence of this,
No,
but this is the
but
usual pattern
we
that
know
if a
these
company
things.
wants to do something, they pay actors to act on their behalf and pretend to be, you know, innocent bystanders, as it were.
I
Mm.
do know this. I know, I believe this. I know this. This is the story that's been played out. J.D. Rockefeller with the whole introduction of the pharmaceutical industry. played out through time and time again. In fact, I was talking to an old friend of mine from Paraguay yesterday, and I was saying we both grew up in that kind of culture where anybody had a price. And so any of this stuff is never very far-fetched for us because we know that you literally can pay your way through anything.
Hmm.
But anyway,
But still, it doesn't take away from the fact that people are rebelling left, right, and center. And this
and
is what's really good. And there's a load of people coming together to change things. Look at the flotilla sailing across the Mediterranean.
I don't know about that.
You don't know about the boats going to
No.
Gaza?
No, the only thing I know about is the March of England, which I look like I'm wearing the English flag.
You do rather.
But I'm happy for that because I,
St. George is also the patron saint of Palestine, just so you know.
well, that's good. But I'm pro like finding
Hmm.
culture, like being proud
We
of our
have to, yes,
culture
we have to
again.
be true to our own place. However, there's boats from all over the world, people from all over the world joined up in all these little, big, medium-sized boats sailing towards Gaza with all this humanitarian aid to break the siege, to break the blockade.
Inshallah. Let's
Yeah.
hope. Let's hope because I heard the other day from somebody else that the whole thing was a setup and kind of
Oh,
it's not
that's what
even.
that's what that's what the people who are perpetrating the genocide want you to believe.
Oh no, I think that, well, I don't know, but you see, again, a good
Mm,
example of all these different truths happening in
mm,
different kind of dimensions. So,
mm.
and the person who told me this said that it's a great big setup to just, it's a distraction and,
Well, again, yes, it's another way to divide us for sure. The people, the evil people behind things, I won't put them up there. I'll put them behind because they're not above us. They're hiding in the shadows around us. Um, that the people who are perpetrating the genocide are still only puppets of them as well.
well,
Yeah,
that's it. It's like this
that
whole
is it.
thing has
Yeah.
been
They're
engineered
not in charge,
to
really.
put people against each other
Yeah.
for the sake of actually, it's all greed and money behind all of this. And
Yeah.
in fact, someone I was talking to yesterday was saying that they feel that the politicians are in the hands of the Israeli elite. So that stops them actually doing a good job. We were talking about
Mhm.
Donald Trump and how he could
Mm.
have done good things, but won't be
Oh
able to
yeah,
do things
they're all
because
being blackmailed
he's
and being, arms up the back. How,
well, they've done horrible things, haven't they? I mean, he's had his
yeah.
reputation towards young women and he's been abusive. So it's like, that's been
Mhm.
used to, is such a twisted,
Mm.
poisonous.
However, there are loads of people with really good, lovely hearts sailing towards Gaza right now. I'll
They're
send
going
you
to
some
do
stuff about it
something
because it's
beautiful.
beautiful.
And what's beautiful about that, as the marches were, was the fact that it was in a good spirit. It's in community spirit. And I know people that went to those marches over here and they said the atmosphere was fantastic.
Yeah.
No violence. There was about 3 million people.
Yeah.
BBC reported over 100,000.
Yeah, I know.
It's just,
Always.
but thank
Always.
goodness, I know we belittle social media and it has got a poison side to it, but the light side of it is the fact that
Mm.
people can communicate across the globe. Social media would have come into
Mm.
organizing that flotilla. People
Mm.
are
Mm.
actually recording what is going on, not what we're being
Mm.
fed is going on by
Well,
some.
that's the thing. We have to believe people who are on the ground, who send us messages, who are witnesses to what's happening, and that's heartbreaking. But as long as we can keep our hearts open and to understand that there is a higher purpose coming, there's a better world
Well,
coming, and we
things
all have
have
to
to
work
get
towards that, right?
the tower. Things have to go down to the
Yeah.
dark, like Madron had to go down, like Equinox, down to the
Mm,
dark, and then
mm,
gets reborn and comes up.
mm,
And as I said, with all those retrogrades, everything's a bit
mm,
confusing, disorientating, bit eureka. But
mm.
in order to build a new dawn, you have to know what you want because life wants a shopping list. It does not want a kind of just a rough idea of what you may want. It wants to know detail, and you can't have detail unless you've got knowledge and experience.
Yes. Oh, perfect place to end it on. That's it.
Punto.
Yeah.
Lots of love, everyone. We will
Mwah.
see you
In
soon.
2 weeks.